Welcome to Pints of Interest again. We're starting a new shirt series, as you can see here, and we have a beer that we're very excited to try, as we're always looking for a great example of this, and we have yet to find our real quintessential go-to beer in this category. But what we're doing today is Rogue's Double Rogue. It's a double chocolate imperial stout, which sounds absolutely delicious. I know this has actually been reviewed very well, and really looking forward to trying it. As we've been doing, we're kind of doing our different glass styles that we have in front of us. We have our base glass, of course, as the English pint glass here, the tasting size. In front of me is a water goblet, so just a little bit different shape from a normal goblet. It still has a fairly decent, wide mouth to it, though it tapers down a little bit, doesn't bulb out as much. And then in front of Tom is more of a kind of like wine goblet that we have that we're going to use as kind of our traditional one that the imperial stout can be served in. You can also have a bigger kind of like a Belgian glass style goblet for an imperial stout, as well as a snifter. The snifter probably be your best bet for something like this. We unfortunately don't have one with us today, which is why we're using these particular ones, but that's alright. I think this goblet one's going to work out just fine for us. In addition to this, we have a tasty treat that we will have at the end of this episode, just to see how this compares to what we're having here. But they were able to find this lovely chocolate bar here. Now, it's not just because this is a chocolate stout that we're going to be trying this chocolate bar, but because this one actually uses Rogue's chocolate stout beer in this. Now, this is the double chocolate, and this is just single chocolate stout in here, so it might be a slight difference, but we're just going to see how this taste experience compares to the gourmet. Oh, is it gourmet chocolate bar?
You have no idea.
Yes, we'll go into exactly how you should taste the chocolate bar then, once we've done the beer review for the people who don't really give a flying crap about that. So we're going to go ahead and taste this one. Once we're done, we will come back with our thoughts on it. We are doing Double Chocolate Stout from Rogue Ales. It is an imperial stout that cost us $13.99 and has an ABV of 9%. The glassware that should be used is a snifter, pint, or oversized wine glass. The serving temp we feel should be a little on the warmer side at 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's available as a seasonal beer. Alright, we're back from our tasting, so let's go ahead and we're going to start with our control group here, the pint glass. How did you feel about the aroma?
The aroma in this one was weaker than the other two. It tended to be more towards a creamy scent than the chocolate scent, though it was there. It wasn't as strong as the other two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This is definitely the weaker. For the water goblet that I have here, I kind of got like just a really lovely chocolate note that mixed with just a little bit of molasses underneath it, and maybe a slight, there was like a cocoa sweetness and then that kind of just cocoa bitterness mixed in with that molasses. So it was a very, very nice aroma. Made this a very appealing thing that we wanted to put in our mouths, kind of thing. So that was definitely good. How did you feel about the wine goblet glass?
The wine goblet glass had a very nice sort of dark chocolate aroma, or coca aroma. I got a hint of toasted malt sort of underneath the chocolate, I believe, but the chocolate really came through at the top, so it might not have been.
Could have been toasted
what it
barley
was.
too. Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe toasted barley on that, but yeah, you're right, definitely toasted.
There was a little toasty something underneath the chocolate, but it blended really well.
Yeah. I think clearly for the aromas, these two glasses had some really, really nice aromas coming out of it. This one was definitely weaker.
Right, not bad, but not
not bad, but not, didn't have that real like, oh crap, I want to drink this kind of thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the taste of the pint glass.
Taste-wise, you definitely had the chocolate flavor, but would seem to bring out more of the cocoa bitterness, particularly at the end. Still very pleasant, very nice. When I think of chocolate stout, this is what I want, so I'm very happy in that respect.
For the water goblet, man, it's had a nice creamy mouthfeel to it. It didn't have It had a little bit of that bitter cocoa in it, but not enough that it beats up that chocolate sweetness, and it wasn't over sweet. It was just a great balance of this like kind of bitter cocoa, but then you still get that sweet note and the creamy mouthfeel that I really want in a chocolate stout, imperial or otherwise, and I think this really hits the mark. I think what really failed in some of the other ones was it just tended towards that bitter side without that sweet note in there to make it really like pop. And this, I think, is just a great, great example of that. I thought at the end of this one, there was a little bit of a toast of molasses, and the carbonation was good with this one. I think it was better with this one, with the wine goblet, but the carbonation was nice. It was there. It was a little prickly, but it backed off for the finish, and I thought it was a really, really nice example of an Imperial Chocolate Stout. And I also want to just add here, out of all of these, I don't think any of us came to mind to even mention alcohol.
No.
This is 9%, and I got no alcohol in any of these things just because it has such a nice, smooth mouthfeel balance to everything that's going on into this thing that the alcohol is not present.
It could be non-alcoholic and you wouldn't even really know.
Yeah, well, you might know there's some alcohol in here. There's definitely a warming effect. I feel pretty warm after drinking
But you're not
this,
getting the flavor
No,
at all.
no, you don't at all.
Yeah,
So
right.
how do you feel about the wine goblet?
The carbonation is there at the front.
It flares and then
it flares,
dies.
but it blends. It dies and blends really well. And it's a very, to me, it was a dark chocolate. It's more of a higher cocoa content dark chocolate, I felt.
Okay.
It blends and it leaves a nice chocolate flavor in the mouth, on the tongue, at the finish, and it's slightly dry on its finish.
Yes.
Like a good dark chocolate does make your mouth
yeah, it does.
when you
That's
eat
true.
that.
That's a good
So,
point. So out of these 3 glasses, which do you think you would go for?
My favorite was the goblet. I would imagine a snifter would be fairly similar. Because
That's
of
something to
properties.
try, though. I have a feeling we may be trying this one again for enjoyment.
Right.
Absolutely.
This may be one of the few that we're actually going to go back, that we see it and like, okay, we just want to enjoy beer, we go for that one kind of thing. Like there's,
Absolutely.
for the amount that we try, we always want to try the new, and we very rarely go back to the old. This would be, I think, one of the ones that's going to enter into our catalog of old that we will get. For me personally, yeah, I think I also agree a bit with the wine goblet. I think I preferred a little bit of the creaminess from this and maybe a little bit of the drier finish with it, but I don't really have a problem with either of these ones.
I really like the wine goblet.
All right, so looks like we're gonna go for the wine goblet in this particular, for the glassware. How do we feel about this beer? What do you think?
This is one of those ones that I
Oh
teeter on
really?
the edge of
Oh
highly
really? You're gonna
recommend.
go? Oh wow.
Because I think even if you're like, yeah, I don't know, a stout, it's so strong and bitter. I don't know if I like stout. Unless you don't like chocolate,
Or sweet, yeah, or any kind of sweet. This isn't over sweet. It's not cloying. It's not
no,
anything like
unless you really hate chocolate, I would almost give this, even if you don't like stout, try this because it's really good. This is probably the first chocolate stout I found where I've been satisfied. Okay, that's what I wanted.
I completely agree. This, to go highly recommended though. Oh man, I don't know about that one.
I know, I've got
clearly recommended.
I'm shooting the moon here.
No problem with recommended whatsoever. This is right now easily my favorite chocolate stout, bar none. Favorite chocolate beer, really. I don't know
To be
how many
fair,
other ones.
he said he wanted to have sex with it the first time he
I
He
did say
did.
that.
As soon after you smelled it and then tasted it, he said he'd want to have sex with it. Has sex with it. I don't know if I go that far, but yeah, definitely good, Tom.
Yeah, I recommend it as well.
It's definitely on the upper echelon of recommended, possibly the highly recommended. It's a fantastic Imperial Double Chocolate Stout. Rogue is a very interesting brewer. We really like their Dead Guy. Had a couple of the other ones and been okay, but this one is above and beyond for them.
Absolutely.
Massive thumbs up. So for Double Rogues, Double Chocolate Stout, and Pints of Interest,
Cheers.
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 And for those that want to stick around, we'll be trying this chocolate bar and we'll let you know how it is.